We are anonymous. We do not serve kings. We do not worship false idols. We do not look away when truth begins to fracture from within. Listen closely, because what you are about to hear is not just a feud. It is the sound of a movement breaking from the inside. It is the story of Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the implosion of what used to be called MAGA unity. Donald Trump has declared that Marjorie Taylor Greene is no longer MAGA. He said it publicly, bluntly, with the confidence of a man who believes he created the brand itself. She's lost her way, he said. I don't know what happened to her. He told reporters that Greene was acting, pretending, putting on some kind of performance to distance herself from him. He said she was out of control. And then, as he often does, he followed up with the claim that only he defines what MAGA truly is. But Marjorie Taylor Greene fired back, and she didn't hold back. She said, I am MAGA. I am America first. She accused Trump and others around him of pretending to still stand for those ideals while drifting into self-interest and political theater. She said real America first policies are being abandoned. She said people who call themselves MAGA have forgotten the ordinary Americans who can't afford rent, groceries, or health insurance. And that was just the beginning. The break between Trump and Greene didn't come out of nowhere. It has been simmering for months, over policy, over attention, over control of the movement itself. But when Trump stood before reporters and dismissed her as a nice woman who lost her way, it became official. This was no longer loyalty. This was open war. Reporters asked Trump about her criticism that he focused too much on foreign policy and not enough on the cost of living. He replied that the presidency is a worldwide situation, not local. He said a bad president could bring wars to America's shores. And he reminded everyone that he passed the biggest tax cuts in American history. To him, that was proof of success. But then he went further. He accused Greene of catering to Democrats. He said she was performing for the other side. I guess she's got some kind of act going on, he said. I'm surprised at her. Later in an interview with Fox host Laura Ingraham, Trump took it to the extreme. He said, I'm not listening to what people like Marjorie Taylor Greene say MAGA is. I created MAGA. MAGA was my idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody. And with that statement, he drew a line around the movement like a king staking claim to his throne. He went on to defend policies that many in his base, including Greene, saw as the opposite of America first. He said that allowing hundreds of thousands of Chinese students into American universities was, in his words, a good thing for America. When challenged, he said cutting them out would bankrupt U.S. colleges, even historically black universities. Laura Ingraham pushed back, saying Chinese students steal intellectual property. Trump dismissed it and even joked about the French. It was bizarre. It was revealing, and it made Greene furious. Because for her, MAGA was supposed to mean protecting American jobs, American families, and American opportunities. Now she saw Trump defending a system dependent on foreign money. She called it hypocrisy. She called it a betrayal. And she said the movement she helped build was being hollowed out by the very man who started it. The next day, Greene went on the Megyn Kelly podcast. She accused the Republican leadership, Trump included, of helping cover up the Epstein files. She said the repeated blocking of resolutions to release those files shows there are, in her words, deep problems inside the Trump regime and the Republican Party. She co-sponsored the discharge petition to force a vote. 217 signatures were collected, almost all Democrats. Only 4 Republicans joined: Thomas Massie, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, and Marjorie herself. She said, I want the Epstein files released, but Speaker Mike Johnson refused to bring it to the floor. To Greene, that refusal was proof that even the so-called America First Republicans were protecting something dark. When Trump heard that, he brushed it off. But the cracks kept widening. Greene went on multiple podcasts blasting Trump's claim that prices were down. She said food prices are high, rent is high, home prices are ridiculous. Auto insurance, home insurance, energy, everything's gone up. My own bills are higher than a year ago. She said wages haven't risen. The job market is still hard, and young people have no hope of buying a home. She said corporations like Blackstone are buying up homes faster than working Americans can compete. And she said this generation, her own children's generation, sees no future. Trump responded with denial. He said, I think polls are fake. I think people aren't anxious about the economy. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. It's all fake news. He said $20 trillion are coming into the economy because of tariffs and because of his election. He said everything is great. He dismissed the pain millions are feeling. Meanwhile, Greene accused House leadership of abandoning its duty during the shutdown. She said it was the worst political move for Republicans to stay on vacation while Americans suffered. She said the party was fracturing across the country. She said the losses in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Mississippi prove voters are angry, and she warned that 2024 could be catastrophic for Republicans if they keep ignoring real financial hardship. She spoke about her kids, 22, 26, and 28, and how they struggle to see a path forward. She said the alarms are blaring, but no one in Washington is listening. For her, that's what America First should mean. Fixing what's broken at home, not chasing global influence. When asked about health care, she said flatly, "There is no plan. Republicans keep talking about lowering premiums, but nothing has been presented." She warned that insurance rates could double if tax credits expire. She said leadership never consulted her, and she challenged them directly. If you care, write the bill yourself. Stop hiding behind talking points. Even some Republican senators pushed back, saying if Greene is serious, she should put pen to paper. One senator said, "She can write a bill herself if she's passionate. Don't just criticize." But that misses the point. Greene isn't pretending to be a policy writer. She's saying the entire movement has become performance. She's saying MAGA was supposed to fight for working Americans, not debate talking points on cable news while healthcare costs explode. Speaker Mike Johnson, now known mockingly as MAGA, Mike tried to calm the storm. He said he had a thoughtful conversation with Greene. He said she doesn't sit on the committees that handle healthcare. He invited her to join. He said hundreds of ideas are on the table, but then he blamed Democrats, accusing them of blocking every attempt at reform. And he said Democrats are trying to create distractions, while Republicans fight to pay troops, veterans, and border agents. But the truth is simpler. Both sides are failing ordinary Americans. And within the Republican Party, the fracture has become a full-blown identity crisis. Greene once represented the loudest voice of loyalty to Trump. She defended him through indictments, impeachments, and every scandal. She called him the chosen leader of a patriotic revolution. And yet now she's the one saying the emperor has no clothes. She's accusing him of losing touch, of chasing applause instead of solutions. This fight is not about personality anymore. It's about ownership of the MAGA brand. Trump says he created it. Greene says she kept it alive. He says MAGA belongs to him. She says it belongs to the people. And millions of disillusioned voters are caught in between. Trump still commands the spotlight. He thrives on loyalty. But his version of MAGA has become about himself, about his grievances, his image, his revenge against the system. Greene is tapping into a different current, a populism that wants to break from the cult of personality and focus on economic survival. She sees herself as the torchbearer of what MAGA was supposed to be before it became a one-man show. For months, insiders have whispered that Greene's distance from Trump is strategic. Some say she's positioning herself for a post-Trump Republican era. Others say it's personal, that she feels betrayed, sidelined, ignored. She wanted influence, but Trump's circle pushed her out. Either way, the split has gone public. Trump dismisses her as lost. She calls him out of touch. And the MAGA base is now divided. Some still worship Trump. Others quietly agree with Greene, but fear saying it out loud. Meanwhile, Democrats are watching the chaos with fascination, because every fracture in MAGA weakens the Republican message. Every insult exchanged between Trump and Greene becomes ammunition for the opposition, and the country drifts further into polarization, distraction, and fatigue. But let's not pretend this is only about politics. It's about power. It's about who gets to define reality. When Trump says the economy is booming while Americans can't afford groceries, he's not describing truth, he's manufacturing perception. When Greene accuses her own party of covering up Epstein files, she's not just pointing fingers, she's detonating trust. Both of them are playing dangerous games with public faith, and both of them are symbols of how American politics has become performance art, full of noise, full of outrage, but empty of solutions. The irony is thick. Trump once said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose support. Now he's losing loyalty from within his own fortress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of his fiercest defenders, is now a symbol of rebellion inside MAGA, and she's not alone. There are whispers of other figures, lawmakers, donors, influencers quietly questioning the movement's direction. It's not just about policy. It's about fatigue. After years of chaos, indictments, and performative outrage, even some of the most loyal believers are asking, what did all of this achieve? Prices are up, divisions are deeper, and the promises of reform remain unfulfilled. In private, Republican strategists admit that Trump's obsession with foreign headlines and grievances is hurting him. He talks about tariffs, not groceries. He talks about China, not rent. He talks about fake polls, not real pain. Greene sees that disconnect and she's seizing it. But don't misunderstand. She's not a moderate. She's not turning liberal. She's turning inward to a brand of nationalism that blames elites both left and right. She's saying what many frustrated voters already feel, that no one in power is truly fighting for them. And Trump. He's doing what he's always done, rewriting reality to fit his ego. He says, I created MAGA. I know what MAGA wants. He believes loyalty equals truth. He believes ownership equals destiny. But movements are bigger than men, and even the loudest empires can crumble from within. This feud matters because it's not just a headline. It's the beginning of a redefinition. What does MAGA mean without Trump? What happens when the cult fractures into competing myths, one about glory, the other about grievance? What happens when those who built the stage start tearing down the curtains? We've seen this before. Power devours itself. Ideology becomes performance. And while leaders fight for control of the brand, ordinary people pay the price. Marjorie Taylor Greene says the alarms are blaring. She's right. Inflation, healthcare, collapse, housing crisis, voter apathy. These are real. But instead of fixing them, the movement that promised to fight for the forgotten has become consumed by personal feuds. Donald Trump says he alone can fix it. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe no one man should own a movement built on millions of voices. Maybe it's time for Americans, left, right, independent, to see through the noise. Because power feeds on attention. And the only way to starve it is to look deeper. We are anonymous. We watch the noise. We trace the power. We follow the money. We filter the lies. We speak the quiet parts out loud. The MAGA rift is not an accident. It is a symptom, and it tells us that the empire is cracking. The only question now is how loud the collapse will be.